Hello everyone and welcome to the channel. I'm Emmanuel, I'm an Airbus A330 pilot, and welcome back to another Discover A330 Relabs. Today we are going to fly to FSDG's brand new Mombasa, which is a real-world flight operated several times a week by Discover. So, we're also flying the Delta Alpha X-Ray Golf Foxtrot, which has just been phased out. It did its last flight at the end of January in the real world, so this is kind of a little bit of a goodbye flight to the Golf Foxtrot here as well. Alright then, our services are just about starting, the catering is just arriving at the aircraft, and I'd say that is a good moment for us to board our A330 here as well, since it is both a little bit cold and a little bit loud outside over here. So follow me inside and then we can start this video like we always do with a little look at today's flight plan. So this is what today looks like. We are leaving Frankfurt down southbound and across the shoreline of the Mediterranean into Egypt, across Jeddah, and then southbound across Eritrea, Ethiopia, and into Kenya, south into Mombasa. The significant weather charts are looking quite okay today. We are crossing quite a couple of jet streams, which may come with a little bit of clear air turbulence, but overall good weather conditions on the way down. Now, Frankfurt is giving us low-lying clouds, temperature 1 degree over here, but Mombasa is looking really beautiful, 27 degrees and absolutely beautiful weather conditions. For arrival at 0300 UTC, we are looking at variable winds and broken clouds in 1900, so we'll see whether we can do a straight-in approach runway 21 or whether we have to fly the on-off approach to runway 03. Now, our alternate in Zanzibar, which is where the airplane is going to continue onto after the stop in Mombasa, is actually looking very good, and with that in mind, let's have a look into our flight times. So we are departing Frankfurt at 18:55, and that way we are going to arrive in Mombasa about 5 minutes behind schedule, so we might have to think about making a little bit of that up. Our airplane, the Delta Alpha X-Ray Golf Foxtrot, is an Airbus A330-200 with the CF6 engines. A little bit of fuel factor over here, 103.0. Now, we are not critical with any of our weights, and since this is only about an 8-hour flight, our takeoff weight is actually pretty low, at least for an A330 that is. We start in flight level 370, we do have a couple step climbs planned over here, level 390 once we make it into Egypt, and then level 400 when we make it into Eritrea. But we'll see whether we are going to do those or not, because, well, I have to record this one live overnight since the airplane doesn't support time acceleration, and therefore I do probably want to get a little bit of sleep over here. Now, with all of that in mind, let's have a look into our fuel plan. So 50.4 tons is our planned takeoff fuel, giving us fuel for about 10 hours of flight time, and we need 500 taxi. We might want to increase that a little bit today, depending on whether we are going to find some icing during the walk around. But overall, 51 tons of fuel is the minimum here. Now, flying 2,000 feet below is just going to use an additional 200 kilograms, so I'm not too worried about missing the step climbs, but I am going to load 1,000 kilos extra for that. So 51 is the minimum. If we make it 52, should be absolutely fine. And lastly, also look down here, if we do fly faster, we can shove off up to 22 minutes at the price of 3.5 tons. Definitely not going to do that, but normally on the A330, if you fly like a cost index of 80 instead of 10, then you save about 10 minutes at the cost of an additional 800 kilos, which we are going to consider doing today so that we can arrive on time in Mombasa. So with that in mind, we said we wanted 52 tons of fuel plus 1,000 again for flying faster, so we end up at 53 tons of fuel, and that shall be the final figure for today's flight. Alright, so with that in mind, let's take a seat in our lovely A330-200. We're going to start with the basics of the preliminary cockpit preparation here. So engine master levers are off, start selector is norm, the weather radar is turned off, landing gear lever is down, wiper selectors are off, battery voltage is above 25.5 volts, on all of them. Then we can tune delivery here 122.035 like that, and we want to make sure that we also hear something on that radio and also get the interphone up, and then make sure that the speaker is turned on as well on both sides. So with that done, let's set up here and do the APU fire test, which is looking good. ADRs 1, 2, 3 are going into nav mode. And then let's quickly go ahead and set up the lights so that our colleague can go out for the walk around. Like that. Seatbelts remain off since we haven't fueled the aircraft just yet. And then we can have a quick look down into our electronic flight bag. So, looks like they have once again reset all those settings. Lovely. So, let's go ahead and really add that stuff real quick. So, real alignment time, we link no instruments, and all the rest is looking good. Alright, cool. So let's give that another try. And here we go. SimBrief flight plan is downloaded. Then let's go into the payload menu, download the SimBrief data down there as well. And for the fuel, we want 53 tons, like that. Apply and make that an instant load, please. Like this. Thank you. Alright, cool. Then let's go into the takeoff calculation. We're going from runway 18 today, and 18. Intersection Lima is about 3,800 meters, so let's select that. The surface will be considered wet since we've just had pretty strong snowfall throughout the day, and 203 tons takeoff weight should be good. In config 2 with the air conditioning off and anti-ice probably on. Alright then, let's hit calculate and see what we're gonna get. Surprise, we can take off. Who would have thought that? And then let's go ahead and continue. So our aircraft is accepted, the plane itself is in a good condition, and we got 2 OEBs on this one, which is the incorrect vertical profile during non-precision approaches, as well as the air conditioning, excess cabin altitude. We are familiar with both of those OEBs. If they become relevant, I will explain them later on during the video. Alright, so with that our airplane is accepted, then we got sufficient hydraulics, sufficient oxygen, we do have sufficient hydraulics, and let's go ahead and power up that FADEC real quick. We also have sufficient oil. Could be a little bit more in the 200, up to like 23 quarts, but okay. Alright, so flaps are up, that agrees, and that's all looking good. Parking brake is released. Then let's test the alternate brakes, which are looking fantastic. And then we can just set that parking brake again, and here we go. Alright, that's all looking good. Looks like our catering is also done, so let's go ahead and request boarding. And while that's in progress, we can start with our cockpit preparation procedure here. So that's fairly easy stuff that you are well familiar with. And let's see, now we have 53 tons of fuel. So we can also turn on the fasten seatbelt signs. Batteries are looking excellent. So fuel pumps on, then fire test. It's looking good. On the right side everything is looking good. And we do not have any temperature sensitive, so we can leave that off. So we do have to record the PAs though, and up here everything's done. Then moving down to the main panel, let's see, the QNH is 1002. And that is set. Looks like here we go, 3rd of February 2026, that is looking good. Up here everything is set, and moving down then, delivery is set, ground is set, and on VHF2 we can set the guard frequency of 1 to 1.5. Alright, the ACP is set, weather radar is looking good, the middle is looking good, the right is looking good, and then we can head right into the FMS. As always, I will be using my WinWing CDU to do the FMS setup, so let's get right into it, and we start with the FM1. We got an A330-200 with a CF6 engine, nav database is up to date, delete any of those stored items. So, init request, and we got Frankfurt to Mombasa, alternate Zanzibar, Ocean 134, cost NX10, flight level 370. Lots of stuff down here, so let's go. Frankfurt, departure, runway 18, and we are departing via the Cindy 8 Sierra departure. Insert, and we are arriving in Mombasa, probably with the RNAV approach to runway 03, and we are filed via the Hypnoc 3 Bravo arrival, which we got over here, and via, I think it's AppNext, but let's check. Evoco? No, AppLux, AppNext, Genil. Do we have any of those? Yeah, Genil. Okay, then we are going to use Genil for that. Alright, insert. Now, let's get the charts for today's flight. So we need Frankfurt, charts, departure, 18, and we need the Sierra procedures down here. Give me the nighttime chart, please. Okay, so Cindy 8 Sierra, straight at Delta Fox 158 above 800, and then Delta Foxtrot 171 above 2500, max 220, Delta Fox 173, Delta Fox 174 above 4200, and then we got Delta Fox 170 above 6000, Amtix and Cindy, and that's all looking fantastic down here. Alright, so off for data, next page, stored waypoints, and we can add the Frankfurt emergency 3 point, and that's going to be based on Frankfurt's runway 18 on a 176 radial and a 25-mile fix. Okay, so flight plan copy active, Frax 3, including a holding, 176 right turn and 1 minute leg time, please. Like this, and from here we will program an immediate return back to Frankfurt with an ILS Zulu approach runway 07. Alright, insert and thank you. Great, so we got that stuff, then let's go back to the flight plan page, fix info, Frankfurt 18, radial 176 and Frax 3. Alright, that's all looking fantastic. Then we can continue on to back to the init page. And down here we got a zero fuel weight of 149.5. 25 is gonna be our CG. Block fuel 53 tons and 16 knots tailwind. Okay, so contingency is 1.4. And no, that is not a format error, that is a bug. Okay, 3.6 for the alternate and 2.1 is going to be our final reserves. Leading us to minus 9.6, that is of course not correct. But let me see if we can add any steps here. I do think that's a little bug in the airplane right now, where you need to, find a waypoint after the... We need to find a waypoint after the initial top-off climb in order to actually find the step menu. So at Mike Alpha we're going to climb to flight level 390, and at Raska we're going to climb to flight level 400, and then at Gatol we are going to descend to flight level 390 again. And at Alemu, they want us back in flight level 400, because why wouldn't we? Alright, and that's it. So we can return over here, that's all that stuff done. Then let's go ahead and make sure that the winds are uplinked. And then let's move on to our takeoff performance. So it's a flap 2 takeoff with 52 degrees, and the speed's 46, 56, 58. Alright, and we set 52 degrees flex temperature. Thrust reduction and acceleration are going to be 1000 above the field each. Engine out acceleration in 1500 above the field. And derated climb 1, since we are, even though just slightly, still above 200 tons. Alright, optimum 366, maximum 391, so we'll probably climb to 390 straight away, because, you know, I want to go to sleep. Alright, cool, and finally 177 meters takeoff shift, and that's it. Lovely, so that's our setup completed down here. Then let's go up to the FCU. Flight directors are coming on, QNH 1002, and initial climb altitude 4000. Let's also set that QNH on the other side, like that. Constraints are selected, the rest is looking good, and that's it. Alright, lovely. So our setup is completed, so then let's go ahead and grab the IFR clearance before we go ahead and do our departure briefing. So 122.035, and well, I don't actually have the ATIS here because we would be using the data link ATIS all the way in the real world, but okay. Well then, let's just go ahead and call for standard clearance, or shall we? So what's that frequency again? I think it's 122.035, but let me just check. So airport chart, ground chart, AGC. Okay, ATIS departure 1873.
Wind calm. Visibility 3. Sky conditions, solid overcast at 500 feet. Temperature 1. Dew point 1. QNH 1002. Transition level 70, advise on course heading, altitude, and if flight following is requested. Read all runway and hold short instructions. Advise on initial contact, you have information whiskey.
Alright, information whiskey. Frankfurt delivery, Ocean 134 Heavy, information whiskey, request IFR clearance to Mombasa.
Ocean 134, clear to Mombasa via the Cindy 8 Sierra departure. Expect runway 18. Initial climb to flight level 070. Departure on 118.505, squawk 7724.
Ocean 134 is cleared to Mombasa via Cindy 8 Sierra departure, runway 18, climb flight level 70, departure 118.505, squawk 7724.
Ocean 134, read back correct. Ground will be on 121.805.
121.805, Ocean 134. Bye-bye. Okay, so 18, Cindy 8 Sierra is confirmed, 70 is in here, 18505. Well, I'm going to put that in here as a reminder. And then the squawk is 7724.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome aboard
Alright.
Discover Airlines Flight 134, departing from Frankfurt.
So that's all looking good.
Moy International Airport. Please take your seats according to your boarding passes.
Then I suppose
Secure
we
hand
can
luggage
start
for
with the departure briefing.
If you need any assistance, feel free to contact any member of our crew. Thank you for choosing.
So today we are leaving Frankfurt, runway 18 on the Cindy 8 Sierra departure, initial climb to 7,000 feet, and the departure is, or departure frequency 18505. MSA 4300, cold temperature correction is required, so we'll add 10%, that's the easy and safe way. Then we are in an MSA of 4700, and in case of an immediate return, runway 07 center is the active runway with the ILS pre-programmed. Now, in case of extra fuel, we've got, well, this one says 0 here, but yeah, that's really not correct, so I'm not really too bothered about that. The predictions in the needles just aren't very good. Okay, so our departure is going to be from runway 18, stop margin for the rejected takeoff a couple of meters, maybe a few hundred even at this weight. The SID takes us straight at 25 miles to the Frax X3 point in 5000, which keeps us safe even above the temperature corrected MSA, and if we need to make an immediate return, we are slightly above the max landing weight. It won't be any problem performance-wise, and if we've got time available, we'll just enter the holding, do all the procedures. If we've got no time available, just fire up the APU and the APU bleed on, respectively. Just put the packs off if there's been any fire or anything. Alright, apart from that, I've got nothing special. I've got nothing non-standard. You didn't find any residues of ice on the plane, so we don't need to worry about that. And that's our briefing completed. Any questions? No? Alright, lovely. Then let's do the cockpit preparation checklist, please. Gear pins and covers removed. Fuel quantity 53 tons, which are balanced. Seatbelts on, ADRs, nav and barrel QNH 1002. Cockpit preparation checklist complete. Okay, 8 minutes before schedule. Let's say hello to our guests and then we're good to go. Liebe Fluggäste, einen schönen guten Abend aus dem Cockpit. Hier spricht Ihr Kapitän. Mein Name ist Emanuel im Namen der Discover Airlines. Darf ich Sie ganz herzlich an Bord unseres A330-200 auf unserem gemeinsamen Flug nach Mombasa und von da weiter nach Sansibar begrüßen. Die heutige Flugzeit wurde mit ca. 8 Stunden und 10 Minuten berechnet. Wir erwarten heute einen weitestgehend ruhigen Flug in einer Höhe von etwa 39.000 Fuß oder ca. 12.000 Metern. Das Wetter entlang der Route, wie gesagt, weitestgehend ruhig mit vielleicht vereinzelten Turbulenzen aufgrund einiger Starkwindfelder, die wir unterwegs kreuzen werden. Wir möchten uns an der Stelle jetzt ganz herzlich bei Ihnen bedanken, dass Sie heute unsere Gäste sind. Lehnen Sie sich zurück und genießen Sie den Flug mit uns und wir melden uns dann im Anflug auf Mombasa mit dem neuesten Wetter bei Ihnen. Vielen Dank für Ihre Aufmerksamkeit. Ladies and gentlemen, good evening from the flight deck. This is your captain speaking. My name is Emanuel and in the name of Discover Airlines, welcome aboard our Airbus A330-200 on our flight to Mombasa. Today's flight time has been calculated at about 8 hours and 15 minutes, expecting a mostly smooth flight at an altitude of 39,000 feet or about 12,000 meters. We are crossing a couple of jet streams along our way, so some occasional bumps may be expected, so please do keep your seatbelt fastened whenever you're in your seat, even if the fasten seatbelt sign is turned off. For the time being, just sit back, relax, and enjoy the flight with us, and if there is anything we can do for you to make it more enjoyable, please don't hesitate to ask any of our China cabin crew members. Thank you very much for your attention, and again, welcome on board. Alright, so that stuff's done. Then let's go ahead and have a look. Zero fuel. Weight is 149.5 in the CG 25.4. Like that. Takeoff weight 201.9. We calculated 203, so we are good to go there. And trim 4.6 units. Alright, like that. Perfect, so all that stuff is looking good. Then let's call for a GSX. Pushback, please. And handling by Swissport is fine. We do not require de-icing right now. And that's it. Alright, let's go ahead and call for pushback clearance. Ground from flight deck. Go ahead. So, please confirm that all the doors and hatches are closed and you can remove the ground equipment now. Roger, stand by. And chocks, yeah, the brakes are in position. Just a little flight sim bug, we actually need to remove the chocks from down here. Just incredible how large this airplane actually is, isn't it? And we're actually just flying the small A330 today. Just flying the 200. Okay, excellent. So, all doors and hatches are closed, ground equipment is removed, and the bypass pin is installed. Thanks. Calling for push. Frankfurt ground, Ocean 134 Heavy, request pushback and startup.
Ocean 134, pushback and startup approved, face east.
Pushback and startup approved, facing east, Ocean 134. Before start checklist. Park and brake. Set. Takeoff speeds and thrust. V1 146, VR 156, V2 158, flex 52. Windows. Door closed, and the beacon is on. Before start checklist complete. Okay, set facing east, then we're gonna take the one that's closest. Ground cockpit, pushback approved, facing east, and the parking brake is now released. After that, start on the pushback and stand by for engine start. Roger. Alright, and here we go. Golf Foxtrot, leaving the stand one last time. So the pushback is a thing into here, and then holding short of here, I think. So we do have a little bit of time for our engine start.
Please pay close attention to the following safety demonstration as it contains important information for flyers. Fasten your seatbelts by inserting the metal tip into the buckle and pull the strap tight. The seatbelt must be fastened whenever the seatbelt sign is activated. Please return your seatbacks and tray tables to the upright position and open your window blinds for takeoff.
Okay then, ground flight deck, we're ready for engine start.
Mobile
Sequence
phones and
112.
electronic devices must be set to flight mode, and larger devices should be securely stowed. Smoking and the use of
And engine one
are
start.
prohibited anywhere on board, including the lavatories. Oxygen masks will drop automatically if required. Pull the mask firmly, place it over your nose and mouth, and breathe normally. Remember to secure your own mask before assisting others. Life vests are located under your seat. To put it on, pull it over your head, fasten it, and inflate it.
Lufthansa 7 Papa Juliet ready to taxi.
Floor level lighting
Lufthansa
will
7
guide
Papa
you to the
Juliet,
nearest
runway
exit,
25 center
which is
taxi
clearly
via November,
marked.
November 4, Lima,
In case
Lima
of
3.
evacuation, leave all personal belongings behind and follow crew
Runway
instructions.
25 center taxi via November, November 4, Lima, Lima 3, Lufthansa 7 Papa Juliet.
Remember right away. The safety information card in your seat pocket contains all details. Thank you for your attention.
Yep, stopping right over here at the line. There are the markings for Area 2. Alright, pushback is completed, set park and brake. The park and brake is set, and then you are clear to disconnect, prepare the airplane for taxi, and see on the clear signal on the left hand side. We will be conducting single engine taxi out today, because we simply have a lot of time available. So, single engine taxi out guideline please. Engine 1 is started, cross bleed open, air cross bleed open. Then apply the after start normal procedure, but the APU can be kept running. In that case, switch the APU bleed to off. So let's go ahead and do that.
Runway 25 center taxi via Lima, Lima 1 Lufthansa 7 Alpha Charlie.
Alright, and engine anti-ice on the operative engine only. So that's going to be number 1. Okay, engine warm-up time before takeoff, consider, and then we are basically done. Note that we do not read the checklist at this point, because we can't really check the ECAM status yet, because there will obviously be inoperative things in there since we haven't started engine number 2 yet. That's normal. Alright, so there's the TAC, there's the ramp agent, and there's the clear signal. Ocean 134, request taxi.
Ocean 134, runway 18 taxi via November 3, November.
Runway 18, taxi via November 3, November, Ocean 134. Clear on the left side, and clear on the right side. Alright, park and brake is released. Let's go. Brake check. Pressure 0. So, off to the right hand side and then all the way to the full length. So, a little bit of floodlight here.
Swiss 1 Lima Kilo, ready to taxi.
Okay, everything clear on the left side.
Taxi via Blue November.
And on the right side. Good.
Runway 18 taxi via Blue November, Swiss 1 Lima Kilo.
And everything's still clear there. Alright, nice. So the warm-up time for the A330 with CF6 engines is 3 minutes. I said 5 earlier, that's just for the Rolls-Royce engine, it's 3 for the CF6. So we can basically go straight at until we are like abeam the fuel depots, and if we commence the engine start over there, that is absolutely fine.
Lufthansa 7 Alpha Charlie, contact tower on 118.78.
Okay then. For the time being, that's everything there is, so we'll be taxiing towards runway 18 for now, and then commence the second engine start a little bit later. Now, a couple things that are worth mentioning here for single engine taxi out on the A330. Technically speaking, the airplane can do it all the way to the maximum takeoff weight. However, in the real world, it is a little bit easier than it is in the simulator, because in the real world, the plane has a little bit more idle thrust than it does in the sim. So right now you can see I'm basically taxiing with a constant 40% N1, and it does take time to accelerate. In the real world, that thing accelerates quite a bit better in idle. So that is something that I would hope for any builds to improve. At low weights it's actually quite okay, but the A330 goes all the way to maximum takeoff weight. With 2 engines and on a single engine, yeah, I mean, I never did single engine taxi out above 215 tons, but at 215 it's no problem at all. Okay, so that Lufthansa is waiting, I hope. Yeah, kinda. A little bit late. Alright, we're reaching the fuel depot over here.
Lufthansa 7 Charlie, taxi to parking via Mike 19er, Mike 14, hold short of runway 25 center, then Lima 9er, November 5, November.
Alright, then I'd say we can start to think about the second engine start. Looking ahead, it does not look like there is any aircraft in front of us. I think 1 or 2, but those will be gone by the time we reach the holding point. So let's go ahead and commence the second engine start. So if APU bleed is available, which it is, APU bleed on. So air APU bleed on. Then engine 2 thrust lever idle, which it is. Engine mode selector ignition start. Here we go, ignition start. Okay, engine 2 start. So, number 2 is coming up. Might just take a little while, but you can definitely see how we can save fuel when we are taxiing all the way down to runway 18 from the terminals. That applies to pretty much any aircraft, even wide bodies. And I mean, the A330 really is overpowered, so on the A330 especially, and that goes for all engines. Even the Neo. The one thing that we got to be careful about when we do single engine taxi out is that the moment engine number 2 becomes available, you are gaining quite a bit of thrust. So you got to anticipate that in order not to exceed the 30 knot speed restriction. Right, here we go. Number 2 is showing available. Then we are starting the timer. Okay then, thrust bleed auto, air thrust bleed auto, APU as required, off, and we'll also turn the engine anti-ice on for engine number 2, and then we can do the after start checklist. So, anti-ice, engine anti-ice on, ecom status, checked, pitch trim. Let's see, we should have up 4.5, and we have up 4.5. And radar trim, neutral. After start checklist complete.
Alpine 49er Tango Echo.
Okay, so flight control track.
Alpine 49er Tango Echo, pushback.
Oh, we're not getting
Alpine
the flight control page.
Echo.
Here we go. Full up, full down, neutral. Full left,
Lufthansa 145.
full right,
Ready for push and start.
neutral. And the rudder,
Lufthansa 1456 cleared for push and
full
start.
left, full right, and neutral.
Roger. Pushback approved. Lufthansa 1456.
Okay then.
Ocean 134, contact tower on 118.78, bye bye.
118.78, Ocean 134, bye bye.
Lufthansa 884, ready for push. Lufthansa 884, cleared for push and start.
And departure 18505. Frankfurt Tower, hello, Ocean 134, not ready yet. I mean, by the time the Lufthansa is airborne, we will be, but, you know. Okay, so, auto brake max, and that's the single engine taxi out guideline complete.
Heavy Frankfurt Tower, can you repeat that?
Ocean 134, ready for departure. Alright, here we go. The ecom is complete. We still need to read the checklist, but
34 heavy, good. Runway 18, winds 100 at 3, cleared for takeoff.
what about the Lufthansa? Ocean 134, runway 18, cleared for takeoff. Okay, we'll do that slowly. So, taxi checklist. Flight controls, checked. Flap setting, config 2, radar and predictive wind shear, on and auto, engine start selector.
Cleared for takeoff.
Ah, there we had something. Norm, ecom memo, takeoff, no blue. Taxi checklist, complete. Cabin crew, prepare for departure. Alright, lineup checklist. Takeoff runway 18 full length, TCAS, TARA, PAX 1 and 2, off, lineup checklist complete. And here we go, 3 minutes on the timer, then we're ready to go. So let's switch that off. And timing. Alright, we are quite close behind the other aircraft, but within limits.
Lufthansa 77 Hotel, contact
Manflex
ground
52,
on
SRS, auto thrust blue.
1.805.
Thrust set. Hotel. 100 knots, checked. Rotate. Positive climb. Gear up. Nav. Checked. Okay, and right in the clouds.
Contact departure on 118.505.
118.505, Ocean 134. Thrust decline 1, climb auto thrust. Flaps 1. Speed checked. Flaps 1. Long radar, Ocean 134 Heavy, passing 1800, climbing level 70.
Ocean 134 Heavy, Frankfurt departure. Identified. Climb flight level 070.
Climbing flight level 70, Ocean 134 Heavy. Okay, we gotta keep the flaps extended in 1+F due to the 220 knot limit over Delta Fox 171. And then autopilot 1.
Ocean 134, climb flight level 200.
Climbing flight level 200, Ocean 134. 20,000 blue. Checked. Once we clear the speed restriction, we do have the altitude, by the way, 2500. Once we clear the speed restriction, we can retract the flaps. And here we go. Flap 0. Speed checked. Flaps 0.
Ocean 134.
Yeah, you're getting the
Contact
first
lag and
time.
radar on 124.73.
12473, Ocean 134. Long radar, Ocean 134 Heavy, passing 2900, climbing level 200. Alright, 10 seconds over, pack 2 on. And engine RTS off.
134, Langen radar, identified. Good evening, expert. QNH 1002.
1002, Ocean 134. Alright, lovely. So, a couple of altitude restrictions here, 4,200 and then 5,000, but those should be no problem. Yep. No amber stars, so they are no problem. Nonetheless, we always have an eye on it, because if there is one thing for sure, then that's that the A330 is not a good climber. Like 4,200, you can see we've just made it about 2 miles prior to the waypoint, and then 5,000 prior Delta Fox 170. Well, that's just about 3.5 miles as well, is it? About 3 miles, yeah. So, set standard. And that button is broken on the standby.
Ocean 134, climb flight level 230.
Climbing flight level 230, Ocean 134. Flight level 230 blue, and standards cross-check, passing flight level 61 now. Checked. Okay, lovely. With that, we are on our way. Let's see, the terrain display is still inoperative at the moment, so we'll stick to weather. There are a couple of terrain-sensitive areas along this route, especially across Eritrea, where you've got MSAs up to 17,000 feet. And then getting closer to Mombasa, you have MSAs up to 21,000 feet with the Mount Kilimanjaro nearby. But that shall not be our problem for the moment. For the moment, we'll just enjoy the beautiful views outside here on the cities close to Frankfurt. And then I'd say we don't have much more to do, but let's check our arrival time. So 0325, the schedule is 0330. And this already includes the long way round, doesn't it? Yep, that includes the long way round. So we're probably going to be a little bit quicker than this. So I'd say that's all good. Nonetheless, just to be on the safe side here, let's see. It predicts 4.2 tons. Realistically, there's going to be more than that. So 25 and 4.2. Let's see what's going to happen if we increase the cost index, say like 80. 14, 4.7. No comment on that the fuel is increasing. It should definitely be decreasing. But 10 minutes saving. I'm going to take it. As I told you on the ground. Cost index 80, saves about 10 minutes-ish, depending on the length of the route, of course. But on a typical long haul, that usually works pretty well.
Dear guests,
Okay
the
then,
batteries are now
passing
available.
10,000,
You
so
may use
lights
the
off,
electronic
signs
devices in
off,
flight mode. Cabin service
ethers,
will begin shortly. Thank you for your attention.
is set, and then clear and copy please. Okay, cruising 370, optimum 372, maximum 391. I tell you what, we'll go up to level 390 straight away.
134, climb flight level 280.
Because I will be going to bed in a couple of moments, once we are up at higher levels. Climbing flight level 240, ocean 134. Flight level 240, blue. Okay then, my friends, I'd say sit back, relax and enjoy the flight with us, and then I see you all on the arrival into Mombasa tomorrow morning. Mombasa approach, ocean 134 heavy, passing level 167, descending level 110, information alpha. Good morning, my friends. We are just about inbound Mombasa. We see the first couple of signs of the shore, and I hope you had a pleasant night on board our Airbus A330.
Ocean 134 heavy, Mombasa approach. Good morning, cleared, Mumbai 2 transition. Expect the ILS runway 21 approach into Mombasa.
Expect the ILS 21 via the Mumbai 2 Ocean 134 heavy. Okay, so that is exactly what we have programmed. ILS 21. Unfortunately, the wind have changed a little bit. No RNAV approach or even nicer circling or something today. But a simple straight-in ILS, which is what you fly in Mombasa most of the time in the real world as well. So let's go ahead and have a very quick look at what ATC just cleared us for. The Mumbai 2 transition is a pretty simple one. If you have a look at the ILS 21, by the way, that accent was pretty accurate. From ASPOM straight to Mombasa, and from there you start the approach. Now for the approach itself, it's really standard ILS. You start in 2200, got a 3-degree glide slope, minimum is 400, and go around straight at 3000, left turn back to Movex VOR, climbing 4000, and you gotta remain within 10 km from Movex. So with all of that in mind, let's go ahead and have a look at what we are going to do. And the first thing here is that we are cleared to descend via that arrival, or are we? Well, let's confirm with ATC. Ocean 134, can we descend to altitude 4000? Let's see what ATC is going to say here.
Ocean 134, heavy, descend 4000.
Descending 4000, Ocean 134 heavy. Okay, all flight level 60 magenta. Alright then, let's go ahead and start with the approach briefing. So this is going to be an ILS approach runway 21 via SPOM, Mombi 2 arrival, and the MSA is up to 2600. For the go around straight at 3000, left turn back to Movex, and climbing altitude, let's see what that is, climbing to an altitude of 4000, and extra fuel and time 700 kilos, giving us 9 minutes. Now for the approach, we are going to use flight director guidance. Or actually, I tell you what, let's actually fly raw data today. So that's going to be flight directors off, birds on, config 3, maximum reverse, auto brake low, vacate the runway to the left, and we'll probably be aiming for, I think it's Delta. Let's have a very quick look here. AGC, landing on runway 21, and yeah, we do want to come off at Delta down here. Then we can simply taxi Delta Mike to the apron, something around stand 4 or stand 5-ish. Normally it's stand 4, I believe. Alright, and that's pretty much everything there is to this. Stop margin for the landing is a couple hundred meters, and we've got nothing special, nothing non-standard, and no threats. Any questions? Well, if you do want some threats, if you do insist on them, then let me give you a couple of birds. They've got quite the bird concentrations in Mombasa, and those aren't the small birds we have in Europe either. Those are rather large ones, so can't really do a lot against it. If it happens, it happens. And that's it. Any questions? No? Alright, then that's our briefing complete. So, going through 10,000, we're cleared down to an altitude already, so let's ensure that our altimeters are set. So set QNH. QNH 1013 cross-check, passing 9,700. Now, checked. Alright, so far so good. Then let's do the approach checklist,
We are now on
please.
our final approach into Boeing. Please turn off all electronic devices and stow them until we arrive at the gate. Ensure your tray tables are put away, your seats are in the full upright position, and your seat belts are fastened. The weather at our destination is currently unavailable, but we appreciate your cooperation. Our assigned gate is apron 314. Thank you for flying with Discover Airlines.
Our gate is not going to be apron 314. We'll be on stand 4, but I'll settle that with our traffic control after landing. Alright, approach checklist. Barrel F, QNH 1013, seatbelts on minimum, Barrow 400, auto brake low, engine start selector. Norm, approach checklist complete. Now one thing you can consider on approach from Mombasa is to use no auto brakes at all, and just use the reversers to slow the airplane down so that the brakes don't get as hot, which can be useful when you fly on to either Zanzibar or Kilimanjaro, which the airplane is going to do today. Different crew, but for that reason, let's actually turn the auto brake back off. Just a little thought. that you would have in the real world. In the sim, well, you know, the sim is the sim. But I just gotta say, this is quite beautiful. Yep, all the terrain around here is really something that you just have to enjoy on an approach like this. And well, the view of a 200 as well. Ain't gonna have that much longer. Okay then. I don't quite remember, did they already clear us for the ILS? In any case, we went through 10,000, so lights, signs, constraints, LS, GPS primary, high accuracy mode, select the norm. Alright. Ocean 134, are we cleared for the ILS?
Ocean 134 heavy. Expect the ILS runway 21 approach.
Ocean 134, roger. Okay, just expect the approach, not cleared for it. That's okay. Lovely little tailwind here, that's what you usually have on runway 21. Because they tend to favor runway 21 over runway 03 because of the straight-in approach. Now, normally when you come in from Frankfurt or from Kilimanjaro, straight in runway 21, if you come in from Zanzibar, well, you can just fly an easy visual approach onto runway 21, or you actually just ask for the RF approach runway 03, which makes it a bit easier, you know? Okay, so 210 over at Aspom, that is working quite well, and then we can go flaps 1, please. Speed checked, flaps 1. Alright, by the time we reach Mombasa, they should clear us for the approach. So let's see what's gonna happen down there, and then we're almost there already. One of the nice things about flights like these is you land at 0300 UTC, which is about 4 AM in Germany, so you're not that tired. Okay, the city is coming into view. There's our runway, everything's inside. And yeah, it's Africa, even though they haven't said it. Cathode dual, autopilot 1-2, glass loop localizer, stop. And glass loop is blue, of course. Lock. Alright, then let's just make it a little bit smoother here. Speed glass loops dark or on altitude set. Manual flight. Cap 1. And manual thrust. So the A330 is never easy to slow down, especially not with a tailwind. So we'll start configuring at 3000 today rather than the usual 2500. And flight directors off, birds on. And here you can see what I meant. We're in idle, and it is even gaining speed. Alright. If it doesn't help, it doesn't help. Flaps 2. And gear down. And yep, the speed is of course going towards the band. Speed brakes out.
Contact Mombasa Tower on 118.6.
118.6, Ocean 134 heavy. This is really typical Mombasa right now. Okay, so approach phase should have activated itself. But with the speed brake it works good. Mombasa Tower, Ocean 134 heavy established, ILS 21. Flaps 3. Speed check, flaps 3.
Ocean 134. Heavy Mombasa Tower. Say again, please.
Ocean 134 established, ILS 21.
Ocean 134. Heavy. Wind 020 at 7. Runway 21. Cleared to land.
Runway 21, clear to land, Ocean 134 heavy. Okay, so it is a slight tailwind of 7 knots. Not much of a problem. But look at that turbulence. So what about the cabin down there? Now they're ready. Probably just forgot to press the button. Landing checklist, Ecam memo, landing no blue. Landing checklist complete. Checked. I like that turbulence.
Approaching 2-1.
Yeah, that's checked. Ooh, quite a downdraft here. No. The speed one is really a little bit sensitive in those any-built aircraft. Checked.
300. 200 minimum.
Continue.
100. 50. 40. 30. 20. 10.
Spoilers, reverse green, decel. Manual brakes.
500 meters remaining. 1,200 remaining.
And we're past 70 knots.
Ocean 134. Taxi to apron. 314 at your discretion. Stay with me.
Alright, who needs brake to vacate? Here we are.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Moi International Airport. Did you know that this city is home to the famous Diani Beach, known for its beautiful white sands and crystal clear waters? Thank you for flying with Discover Airlines. Please remain seated.
Ocean 134, request taxi to gate 4.
Manuel, first officer, and the entire crew, we wish you a pleasant stay here. The local time is 6:15 a.m. For those with upcoming connections, please note Flight 235 to Nairobi departs at 8:30 a.m. from Gate 12, and Flight 350 to Mombasa departs at 9:15 a.m. from
Gate 4 via Delta and Mike, code 1134. Okay, so straight ahead, Delta is the one we vacated on, Mike is straight ahead, Gate 4 is over there.
134.
Well then,
Repeat that.
after landing items, temperature is 29 degrees, that means we can retract the flaps, at 30 we wouldn't. And we can start the APU straight away. Like this. Right, after landing checklist, radar and PWS off. Now. And that's the after landing checklist complete. Alright, let's get some GSX here. Ramp 4. No follow me needed. And now obviously we got a very light aircraft, so it is definitely going to accelerate in idle. Alright then, here's number 5, and we go one further than that. Lights off. Okay, stand 4, here it is. And there is some ground staff, that's always a good thing to see after a night flight. And here we are. Okay, park and brake set. APU bleed is on. Number 1 and number 2. Cabin crew, all doors in park. Fuel wing tank low level. No, I don't think so. Okay. So, GSX, request deboarding. Engines are off, beacon is off, doors are disarmed, seatbelts off, fuel pumps off, parking checklist. Park and brake our trucks, brake set, engines off, fuel pumps off, parking checklist complete. And with that, welcome to Mombasa. So, I do hope you guys have liked this one. As always, leave your feedback in the comments underneath the video. I surely enjoyed this one, and I surely enjoyed doing that one trip with the Golf Foxtrot over here as well. For now, thank you very much for being our guests today. Thank you for watching. Like, comment and subscribe. And if you really love what I'm doing on this channel, I would appreciate a small donation through the Buy Me Coffee link in the video description below. Thank you very much for watching, and I'm looking forward to see you all again on the next one.